Welcome to Alestletics.
Welcome back to another episode of Alestletics. I'm your co-host Sam Muren, joined with you by my co-host Audrey O'Rennick. And today we have another new episode of Alestletics. Audrey, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I'm tired. How are you, Sam? I know you got into hockey yesterday.
Yeah, I played some hockey last night from 9:30 to 10:30, so I'm tired. It's been a while.
Where'd you play at?
I played at Brentwood Ice Arena. So my friend, he never played hockey, but he always wanted to, and I helped get him some gear. And so I went with two of my buddies, one I used to play with in high school, and we brought him out with us. It was his second time skating. So.
Did you, have him in front of you, and then you put your arms around him and hold the stick like they do in golf?
No, actually, I didn't really help him do much. I mean, he had ice skated before, so he kind of knew that. I just kind of gave him advice and, tips and stuff, and that was really it. And he did well.
Is he a pro?
No.
Is he better than you? Because
No.
you seem to just take flops.
No, he was not better than me. It was pretty, no. But he did well for starting.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give him that. But, yeah, no, that was my sports encounter yesterday.
Well, Sam, with a new season of players and sports, let's dig into who we're going to watch this season.
I think last season, or just last school year, gave a lot of hype for what to look forward to, especially with men's basketball making it to the NCAA tournament and men's soccer seemingly making it every year. You know, now it's kind of like the bar's set and it's going to be on certain players to keep it up.
Especially now that other sports that are also on the rise, like softball and baseball.
Definitely.
Pretty much everybody is up on the rise except for
a few selective sports.
A few select sports, which I'll keep their name out my mouth, but y'all know who.
But in our recent survival guide publishing, you had some players to watch that you talked about, and I think it would be good to hear your insight on those select players.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go in order of season. So starting off for men's soccer, we say to watch Hugo Cornish. He is a newcomer that just got brought in this spring. Actually, this is the biggest spring roster that head coach Kale Wasserman has ever had, and he's really looking forward to developing the team starting now compared to bringing them in the fall. They are still going to bring in more players in the fall, but right now they have a big spring roster, and that includes Hugo Cornish. So Wasserman said that he's arguably the most technical player on the team. He's left-footed, and he is an attacker, which is similarly to a point guard in basketball. He just kind of controls the game, really takes the game. He's actually, I think he's a junior now. He joined SIUE after previously playing with William Penn University in the NAIA, and he right away had made an impact on that program. During his sophomore year, he recorded his first ever hat trick in a 5-2 victory over Culver Stockton College, which marked the program's first hat trick since 2021. And he also led the team to its first ever Heart of America Athletic Conference Championship title after defeating the first-seeded Missouri Valley College 1-0 in the final round of the tournament. So he really led the team to victory there. It's like when we first won the OVC in basketball, that's kind of what he did with that program.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because SIUE's been known to have the goalie of the year, for the last 2 years. But if this player is the key guy to the team or could become a key piece, that's a very offense-focused thing. It might be a change of pace for Kale Wasserman's club and his guys to shift from maybe not forgetting the defensive tactics that win those championships, but moving into a more offensive-minded game because he sounds like a very attacking style player.
And I do know that Wasserman is also bringing in another goalie of the year contender. So he already has somebody else lined up, but I just think Hugo Cornish is such a go-getter that I think this would definitely be an interesting player to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't imagine Kale Wasserman without a goalie of the year.
For real.
I don't know if he would. I think he'd
Sam's
leave.
entire time at SIUE has always been goalie of the year.
I've never known anything else, and anything short of goalie of the year is failure in my eyes. But no, Hugo sounds like a really big pickup for SIUE soccer, and they're going to need it because obviously they still have the target on their backs.
Yeah, they have a reputation to kind of uphold now. It's kind of expected, especially now when it's especially now in Bronze Boot. That's also a big SIUE thing.
Yeah, so we'll see how men's soccer handles with their new additions, but they're not the only team getting big upgrades.
No, they're not. So men's basketball obviously had a lot going on in terms of roster. We've seen a bunch of seniors and graduate students leave. We had junior Brian Taylor II enter the transfer portal, and he's actually off the team now. I don't remember exactly where he went, but he went somewhere. So just a bunch of roster changes, and that includes new additions and new transfers. And one of those transfers is Jack Campion. Like champion without the H.
He's a winner already.
He already know. Bro was born a winner. So as soon as the season ended, quick roster changes. Head coach Brian Baroni added Jack to the roster in the spring, and Baroni said that Jack is a proven player that has produced in the Ohio Valley Conference. I've always had a ton of respect for Jack. His toughness, character, and playmaking ability will instantly fit into our championship culture. Now, Jack is a transfer from the Screaming Eagles, I think Southern Indiana University, Screaming Eagles. And he was obviously the Screaming Eagles did not have the best season in basketball, but he was one of the standout players. He finished third in assists in the OVC with an average of 4.3, and he ranks second in the OVC in assist/turnover ratio with 120 assists and 52 turnovers. And I do know that he's like above Rayshawn Taylor in a bunch of these statistics. Obviously, Rayshawn's a very talented individual, but so the fact that Jack is also kind of up there in the stats with Rayshawn says a lot.
Yeah, no, that's big. And I think just the words of Baroni alone kind of really speak to adding someone like this, if he believes in him, and especially a culture that Baroni's really built around. That's really important. But I agree with you with what you were saying on like his comparison to Rayshawn, where it's not saying like, oh, he's better or he could be the next. We don't know, you know.
Yeah.
But USI, they had a bad year, but the first year I was here, they weren't awful. They weren't an awful team. I think they had good development. So knowing that this guy kind of went through their program could be exciting for SIUE as he shifts over to our program and kind of into our development system, because we did a good job developing our last group of players. So
he also kind of helped developing the Screaming Eagles. In just his first year, he made 28 out of 33 appearances and started in 13 of them, just as a freshman. And by his sophomore year, he played in all 32 games, and he led USI and ranked fourth in the OVC with assists with 3.8 per game. And he also led the team and ranked fifth in OVC in steals with 1.4 per game, which just as a sophomore, like, that's incredible. And he's only a junior, and he's only, developing and growing.
Yeah. I think that's the key there, too, is that he's got 2 years left. If SIUE can bring him in with open arms and kind of help him grow his game to that next level, he could really step up and be a big filler for a lot of missing pieces here with the team, along with other players that they're still developing, too.
Yeah.
That could be a big help.
Now, moving on from the men, let's talk about our women here. So for women's tennis, we have Amelia Gorman. Big name. Everybody should know her. If you're a fan of tennis, you should know her. We also last year put her out as a player to watch, and she proved to be the player to watch. So we're going to list her again because she's only on the rise. This year, she was named Ohio Valley Conference Player of the Year, which is the second women's tennis player in SIUE history to earn this honor. She was also tabbed all OVC first team and secured 4 OVC weekly honors throughout the season. She led the team in singles 24-5 overall, and when partnered with Stefania at doubles halfway through the season, they went 7-0 overall to earn all OVC doubles honors. And just a little quote from Annika, her partner, she said, "We have great communication with each other. We're a very good doubles team, and I'm happy to play with her."
Yeah, I mean, that speaks highly of your number one team.
Yeah.
Tennis didn't have the outcome I think they were really hoping for with like an OVC championship this past season, but you can say that they still have these players that they can look to kind of be building blocks for even further, because they had a very good year prior to last. So it's not like all the pieces are gone, and they're really still developing if you think about it.
Yeah, so they actually, most of their team was consisted of sophomores and juniors. There were only like 1 or 2 seniors. So it's really like, the same group of girls kind of just continuing to push and to continuing to grow.
Yeah, and sometimes having those pieces together even longer can kind of build that benefit, just build off one another.
Amelia has been here the whole time at SIUE. In just her first year, she actually clinched OVC Freshman of the Year and all OVC second team honors after a 22-7 record in singles. And just her first week of playing for the team, she was named OVC Player of the Week.
Yeah.
So her first week, her freshman year, automatic OVC Player of the Week, and that speaks volumes.
Yeah, she's definitely been the player to watch. Like, she has been, and she will be.
She will continue to be until she's gone.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you're right, though, even though, oh, well, wasn't she last year's pick? Well, yeah, but she's been the team. Yeah.
Like
a big piece of the team, I should say. Really, just it's built around her. I think it's kind of her club to run with right now.
And she is also kind of a glue for the team. All the girls are very supportive of each other, and they have such a close bond that kind of just goes with all these other teams where we hear there's like a family-like atmosphere. And that's kind of just what they have. And she's like mother. she is mother.
She's mom of the team. Team mom.
Team mom.
But, she's not the only... I don't think she's going to be the only face for her team. I think this next player also has potential to be the centerpiece of their team as they begin to rise.
Yeah, so that would be Avery Arwood in women's softball. Now, this is her last year was her freshman year, right?
Yes.
So that she is coming into her sophomore year. In just her first year with the Cougars, she has made significant impact. She was honored as OVC Freshman of the Year and became the third SIUE softball player in history to receive this award. Her outstanding pitching performance also earned her spots on both the All-OVC First Team and All-Newcomer Team. And we have a little quote from Daniel SIUE, which you can just insert this here because it came from the podcast.
When that girl is on the mound, she is attacking the batters.
Yep.
I mean, as a defense, we absolutely love her mentality on the mound.
I mean, it speaks for herself. You hear that quote from Daniel SIUE. But the thing is she's young. She's, like, in the beginning stages.
Yeah.
So the fact that she made such an impact
to these seniors.
To the seniors and just on the team. I mean, look at the team. They went from an 8th place the year prior to a 2nd place finish in the OVC and made a pretty decent run in the playoffs. This team has got what it takes to go, and I think it's going to be her that's the gas to the car, for the team.
She finished the regular season with an 8-1 record in pitching. She made 12 appearances, 8 starts, and threw 58 innings in OVC competition.
Yeah, and in comparison, I think only one other team had, like, a pitcher that was out pitching that. Like, she was up on the top of the standings in pitching, so
definitely the top of SIUE.
100%. But yeah, to me, she, out of the 4 players to watch, I think my attention will be on her because I think, especially in softball, pitching is key. Your starting pitcher is, if they have a good year, the team could be doing well. But if they have a bad year, the team is not going to do well. Look at any baseball or softball team. Yeah. It's just pitching is key. So to have a starting pitcher that can rock the house, that's gonna
rock the house.
Well, it's true, but she does. She really,
100%.
Like they said, she owns the mound. In the games I watched, she was fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see if she can keep it up for year 2.
Yeah, so actually in the final game of the OVC championship, so this would have decided if they won or not. It was extremely close. Like, they almost had the win. They were actually taken to an extra inning for the first time in, like, OVC softball history. Like, at the final game, they were taken to an extra inning, and they lost 1-0. In that extra inning, but she pitched that extra inning. That freshman, she took it and she pitched. You know what I mean? And it's like this is the final game of the. You know what? It's like you win where you lose. You get that title or you don't. And she was out there working her
butt off.
She was working.
She was working, but I think it's really a testimony to Ben Sorten, the head coach's trust in her. Like you can't. To pitch to leave a pitcher in for the whole game is tough. It's not a decision taken lightly, especially with a game on the line like that in such a high pressure situation. But he trusted her out of all the bullpen to really trust her. Is pretty important.
I mean, and you've had there's other pitchers on the team that are more experienced. Are older than her, but her charisma and her determination on the mound is just what secured her that spot.
Yeah. So my question to you, out of all of the players and even all the teams, which do you think is the most exciting to watch, do you think?
Most exciting, probably. This is gonna be basic, but probably basketball. Unfortunately, it's the quickest moving game, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll just be exciting to see how they respond. Like,
Yeah, especially after such groundbreaking, historic season. How are they going to rebound?
yeah.
Rebound.
Yeah. But it's true, and like men's soccer, like it's almost
It's almost like, yeah, we know.
we know they won.
So as like if men's soccer starts to do, I don't even know.
like mid, like even
Like
if they're
mid.
like they make the playoffs and they're like they're
It's just
good.
like,
but-
yeah, we know. Like, duh. It's just a little more exciting with basketball, I fear.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think basketball will have a lot of attention on it, both men and women's, really, because they both have such. To me, this upcoming season is the most important for both teams because it's a line for men. Can you hold the success? And a line for women. Can you take the next step up? Because we know they've struggled the last 2 years, but it'll be interesting to see how they do there. But I won't lie. Softball really surprised me. Like when we had Daniela Shuey and Kaylin Salyers on, I was really actually excited for the team. Like they were just doing well, and it was
Sam was geeking.
no, it was fun. It was fun to watch, and like I got to, obviously I got to go to some of the games to do camera work for them. But like I enjoyed myself watching the game, and that was something when I was reporting on it the year prior, I could not admit I was not having fun. Maybe it was the weather, but at the same time, the team was not doing well, and you could see it. So baseball is another good one where we don't even have a player to watch on there, but I think they're a team to watch.
Oh yeah, they're definitely a team to watch. There's so many standouts.
Yeah, they got some studs players on there.
Studs players.
Like, but it's true, they do. It's
No,
just,
for real.
They
were also pretty close in the playoffs as well.
Unfortunately, I think it was EIU's year with baseball and softball.
Yep.
And that's kind of one of those things where it's like their time to have the spotlight. But
Next year,
I think one of like the big takeaways from like pro sports that we can watch is you'll see a team get just crushed in like the final, and then they'll come back the next year and be that much better,
let's hope that's SIUE basketball.
Yeah, let's hope that's let's hope that's SIUE sports.
Let's hope that's SIUE athletics.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can. There's a lot of programs with, I think, like big statement years coming up. Of can we hold the line of success or can we take the next step to promised land? So it'll be interesting. But yeah, with that, don't forget to check out our previous week's episode of Alestle After Hours. Next week we will be on a break. We will have no podcast coming out. But the week after that, we'll have a new episode of Alestle After Hours. And the week after that, so a very long time from now, we'll have a new episode of Alestletics, all things SIUE sports with Audrey and myself. But for now, that's all for this episode. We can't wait to see you in just a few weeks.
Bye.
Bye.